Alright, scoreboard for war number 7, and there you guys can see the first match. GT40 beats 4Loki 2-7. So 4Loki started the season 4-0, then they lost 4-1, and then they won again. They went improved to 5-1 after last war, and at that point I believe that they were second on the in-game leaderboard behind GT40. So those two matched. GT40 wins. One thing I want to point out here is GT40, their previous 4 wars combined, had died only 3 times. In one of those wars they had a donut, in the other 3 wars they had ones. 4Loki is the first alliance in the last 6 wars, so excluding War 1, to cause GT40 to die more than GT40's average on the season, which is 1.7. So overall, if I'm 4Loki, that's a performance that I would be pretty proud of. So congrats to them. They're actually going to move up from 8th to 7th after this, mostly because GT40 helped improve their strength of schedule, which is really the only thing that's been holding 4Loki back this season. They've been really good. Okay, 2 versus 3 TCN wins, 3 total deaths out of 300 fights. That's insane. But TCN only dies once, JA dies twice. That's just kind of how it goes. TCN's having an amazing season. D69 also having an amazing season. They win 3-7 against SGA. And one thing about SGA, if you guys watched the last video, they had 2 wars that they didn't report. They were still ranked 21st based on the other numbers, based on the other 4 wars that they had reported. One of the people that watches these videos in SGA filled me in on those scores. They reported the 2 that were missing. And they actually obviously didn't realize prior, but going into this war they were 6-0. D69 was 5-1. The reason that SGA is still ranked lower and isn't higher on the in-game leaderboard is because I believe that they started in Tier 3. And with that comes lower win bonuses, basically, or it's technically a multiplier based on your tier. And yeah, so it's kind of like a GGIR situation where they started really low. They were beating up, weaker alliances on their way up, and now they've kind of got to that Masters level, and they're going to start facing tougher competition. So as long as they can, they basically get their shot to prove themselves. And they're a fairly established alliance. I think that typically they're a Platinum 1 alliance, so they're certainly not strangers to competitive alliance war, but yeah, this is kind of their first tough war of the season, and D69 takes it. You guys can kind of look around the map. LVT, we dropped. We had another 10 death clear, very bad, and PBT cleared with only 4. So congrats to those guys. And here's the updated rankings. GT40, TCN, they stay 1 and 2, but D69 goes up 1. Salty moves up 2 with the JA loss, and JA drops 2. So, as I've talked about, usually in the upper echelon, the points are fairly close. Like, the margins are significantly smaller than they are the further you go down these rankings. And so, you're more likely to see a drop or an improvement of 2 or 3 spots because the points are so close. And JA drops to 4 and 3 despite the fact that they're 3rd in efficiency. Salty moves up 2 over JA because they're 4th in efficiency. They have a slightly stronger strength of schedule. And here's something that I want to point out, because this is something that's not on the graphic, but it is something that I've noticed is factoring into these rankings in significant ways, in ways that would, for example, push Salty above JA, despite the fact that JA has died fewer times. So Salty has 51 kills on the season against 40 expected kills. Now the expected kills are their opponent's average deaths per war coming into their war. And Salty, they're 4th overall in that category. It's called defense rating, and they have caused 27% more kills than expected. So they're getting bonus points for that. You can call it defense strength. Some alliances might say that that's just kind of lucky or random, but the bottom line is, against their opponent's average, they have 27% more kills. So to me, over the course of 7 wars, that means that they have one of the stronger defenses in the world, and by this metric, they have the 4th strongest defense in the world, at least this season. And then speaking of JA, they have 41 kills against 44 expected kills. So they're actually negative 7%. And because of that, they're getting 0 points in that category. So again, small little factors here, and the margins are very thin. JA could definitely pass Salty next war if they get a win, but that's just how it goes. Okay. 11 through 20, Noon, they drop from 7 to 11th. They dropped 4 after last war. They moved up 4 from 11th to 7th. They're 9th in efficiency, 9th in strength of schedule. They dropped to 4 and 3. But Noon, going back to that defense rating metric, they have 41 total kills against 49 expected, which is 17% lower than the expected kills. So again, they're getting 0 points in the defense rating category. And then you've got PBT. They continue to have a really good season. They're 5 and 2. They're only 14th in efficiency and 15th in strength of schedule, but they just beat LVT. That's saying hardly anything. LVT has been terrible this season, but PBT is having a good season. So look for them to, if they can continue winning, they're going to start matching higher alliances. They're going to have a real shot at top 10 and potentially top 3. We'll see. MIBR, they move up 2 slots. Legion moves down 2. They drop to 3 and 4. And then SGA, there they are. They were 21st last week with 2 wars unreported. With all 7 wars reported now, they are 16th. And they're 17th in efficiency. And as I kind of alluded to earlier, they have an unranked strength of schedule. They started, I believe, in Tier 3 just based on the points in game. And some of the alliances that they matched in their first couple wars, which were unreported, were, Platinum 2 alliances. So they've just been beating people up, and they've decided that they're going to push this season. So good for them. Welcome. And keep an eye out for them all season as well. And then Sweeta's Alliance, they drop another one, 2 to 5. They're down to 16th in efficiency, 10th in strength of schedule. And let's go back to that defense rating category. So Sweeta's Alliance has 44 kills against 62 expected. That's 29% less than what is expected versus their opponent's average coming into their wars. I'm not picking on Sweeta's Alliance. I love Sweeta's Alliance. I love Sweeta, but minus 29% is dead last on this chart. So if you want to go strictly by numbers and nothing else, then you could say that statistically this season, among all of the 50 alliances that started this season on this spreadsheet, they have the worst defense. So I don't know if that's just luck. I don't know how random that is. 7 wars is a fairly big sample size because you have to remember that through 7 wars, that's 150 fights every single war. So it's about 1,000 fights, and they've only killed 44 people out of 62 expected. So take it for what it's worth. Leave a like and a comment if you want. Let me know what you guys think about, getting more of that defense rating information, if that's something that you like, or if it's something that you just feel like bogs down these videos. And I will catch you in the next update.